Can you justify swearing in any situation? If questions like this have crossed your mind, then you're in good company. Today we'll be taking a closer look at some of the daily habits and social conventions that make up the monotony of life. Let's make your bed and now wear it. Grab your knitting needles and a blanket because it's time for three old friends to sit around and sew a new patch into their quilt of friendship. So join me, Dion, under the covers with Christian.
Welcome to Patchwork.
And Josh.
Welcome to Patchwork. Now, before we get started, I just wanted to chat about a group message that I sent out via WhatsApp, even though most people have uninstalled it now and moved on to Telegram and Signal. Still using WhatsApp. So I was organising some celebratory drinks. I've just quit my job. It's very exciting. And so the Friday of my last day, I was like, cool, let's all go out some friends and we'll do it. I sent a message, 12 people in this message group. And I said, hey guys, organising a drinks. These are the details. This time, this venue. It's about 3:40 in the afternoon I sent it.
3:40 is a good time as well.
Yeah, it's a great time. It's the end of school.
It's the end of school. Everyone's picking up the kids. They've got their phone in their hand. But also, it's at the time of the day where you're starting to drift a little bit. Your focus is you're thinking about what am I making for dinner.
Yep.
You're looking at some recipes on your phone. Oh, message from Josh.
Yeah.
Josh is organising some celebratory drinks.
You're presenting a very good case for why people should have responded instead of no one responding.
Yeah.
And so we got to like after 7 o'clock and I jumped in and replied to my own message going, great, looking forward to seeing no one.
Yeah. And I thought that was good game because you could have waited till the next day and then gone and then chimed in. But I think that a couple of hours later coming in, I think you needed to do that for yourself.
Josh, let's be real here. If ever there's a time to be real, it's now.
Yeah.
How many people out of 12, and I'd like a percentage and a fraction, how many people do you think saw the message between 3:40 and 7?
Oh, I'd say 100%.
100%.
Which is also 100 over 100.
And because Josh doesn't know his fractions, that's the only answer it could have been.
Yeah, save your trouble. Okay, by the way, you two are both talking like, yeah, the right thing to do would have been to respond. You're both in that thread.
Yeah. In the thread.
Dion, did you see the message?
I saw the message. I saw it. I did see the message. I've still seen the message and I haven't replied to it yet.
You've still not written back.
No, I haven't. But Christian, you were the first person to reply to Josh's follow-up message. What'd you write?
Yeah, so I reckon I probably crippled your chances of getting appropriate responses, Josh, because I responded with, who is this?
Yeah.
And I know that's an obvious joke.
Yeah.
I know it is.
Yeah.
But I had to get a bit of movement in the thread.
That's all I wanted.
I didn't want to be the first person to commit.
You've got to loosen, you've got to shaken it up a bit.
Hang on. There's a very interesting point. You didn't want to be the first person to commit. Why is that, Christian?
It's a given that I'm going to be there.
But isn't it weird?
I think I have enough credits in the bank to have a bit of a muck around.
Interesting.
That's fine. I had no issue with what you did. My concern is I feel like if I'd sent a message directly to someone, that same message, they probably would have replied and go, hey, mate, looking forward to seeing you. I'll be there. Or, sorry, can't make it.
There is that thing, though, of if you reply and go, hey, I need to check what I'm doing that night.
That's fine.
Or do you wait? So, Josh, you're a big waiter. You will wait until you reply to the message. You won't go, hang on, I need to check a few things. So some people will wait until they sort of do all their checks.
That's a good point.
And then...
That is interesting. Josh, are you going to reflect on your own behaviour now?
Not at all.
Because,
I mean, he never does. Why would he now?
I don't associate you with quick responses.
No, I wouldn't either.
No.
Yeah. And in
That's
large
hell.
WhatsApp threads, in fact, I'd associate you with never responding.
Great. But when it comes to you, you expect a quick response. Why?
Not a quick response.
What about if I expect a quick response all the time, which I do?
It's a celebration, Dion. It's an exciting moment.
What's the difference?
For who? It's true, for who?
My big concern
Oh,
is...
here we go. Josh, can I just say for everyone listening, Josh is a little bit red. He doesn't really get embarrassed, but there's a light blush to his cheek.
My issue is... Clearly, there's an intimidation level. Ignore us, our personalities and everything. Clearly, there's an intimidation level with a group thread that gets over a particular threshold.
Do you know what it is? It's not the number of people. It is the fact that in that thread, I don't know a few of the people.
Oh,
and
huge.
so when you're added to a group thread with people you don't know, you have to think about, how are you going in here? How do you want to be perceived and what's your persona?
So you'd want to hide as much of your natural personality as possible, Dion.
Yeah, that's right. And delay it for hours.
I wanted to set the threshold for humour very low so that everyone who came in on top of that was like, well, this will be easy.
But when you got a comedy podcast, Christian, and you're setting that threshold low in the recording and out in the wider world,
I'm trying to put less expectations on myself, Dion.
Yeah,
it's something I've been working on.
But do you think if it was, say, 3 people in that, 4 people, is everyone jumping in and responding?
Yes, and promptly, I think.
I think Dion probably has hit the nail on the head.
Yes.
If there's people in that you do not know, that is arresting the thumbs.
Yeah, you might have to.
Hang on, are we playing that catchphrase game again that we played a couple of badges ago? Wait, what are you saying?
That I think, if there's those people...
What was the thumbs?
Arresting your thumbs. Your thumbs, they're locked. They're not typing.
They're arrested?
Yeah, they've been arrested.
With little handcuffs.
Thumb cuffs.
But Christian, for you, I reckon that if you are added to a thread, you know all the people, and there is like a joyous occasion, whatever it is, you want to go in pretty quick because you don't want that person feeling like they're just calling out and no one's replying.
I honestly believe that our generation, there is something that's happened where we are so fearful of commitment to an event.
Yeah,
and I know
shocking.
we've discussed this before, and I know you specifically, Dion, have big issues with this. But I believe, Josh, the reason that people didn't respond is they just didn't want to commit until they saw numbers.
Yeah.
They go, is this my best choice for Friday night?
But it's weird. Yeah, that's true. So it's a numbers thing. And is it the best choice? But with that said, like, if there's 2 other people going, I'd be happy to go. Like, I'm more than happy to go.
The 2 people you didn't know? What
maybe
happens
not.
if you've committed at the start and then it's just 2 people you don't know and Josh?
Yeah. And then it's that thing of...
Sorry.
And then it's that thing of, if you do, in the last minute, want to pull out, have we discussed this? What's the best excuse for pulling out of something where you've committed to it the day before?
At the last minute.
What are you going to use?
I'm just really tired, not feeling well. I think that's fine.
Do
You don't need more than that.
Migraine's pretty good. Headache's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
COVID.
COVID's pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean,
COVID.
in that context.
No, you got... What is it? The cluster migraine? That'll get you a lot of
The
free time.
cluster migraine.
Yeah, they're awful. What I was going to say, though, is I think what people might not appreciate is I would rather just a response that gives me something. So if it was like, oh, yeah, I've got a dinner that night. I don't know what we're doing afterwards. Or, oh, I'm going to
you
Nonna's
like that?
place.
Do you like...
Yeah, I just kind of get a bit of a sense. But I honestly do not care if the people turn up or not.
Yeah, but you do. That's not true.
No, because people have stuff on.
Yeah, and it's late
bother me.
notice.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
that's
So I'm
true.
like, if you come, you come. If you don't, you don't. But I just like a bit of, oh, not sure if I can make it, mate. Hope you have a great night. Or, yeah, might see you there.
But that's touching on your point, Christian. There's never been a generation, I don't think, that doesn't give a shit about their friends more than ours. Don't you reckon? Like,
Yeah.
back in the day, 50 years ago, my dad organized a thing for his birthday. Everyone's going. I'll be there. And now... You just got a whole bunch of shit on with different migraines, viruses.
Yeah, but I think we've touched on it before in that it's so easy with phones to cancel, and that is the big downfall.
Yes.
That line of communication is open all the time, right up until the event.
Yeah.
So you can always just duck in or duck out as late as possible.
I think we've got a year, maybe apparently until December to use COVID and texting. I think we've been gifted the best excuse to get out of an event we'll ever have.
I agree.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime excuse.
silver linings, right?
Yeah.
As many of you would know, Christian and I play AFL 7s. Christian's water bottle was once hijacked and drunk to the bone.
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, when it was okay. But Christian and I play in an AFL 7s, non-contact sort of footy. And we've been playing in this comp and we've been really, really enjoying it. And for me, I get white line fever when I play sport, and particularly AFL. And I think it harks back to when I used to play, and I also used to get white line fever back in the day. But a couple of weeks ago, I was playing and I was stuffing up kicks and handballs, and I was swearing at myself every time I did it. But I wasn't swearing at anyone else. And so
but out aloud?
Out loud. So I'd go and kick the ball, I'd miss a target and I'd go, fuck. And I'd do it like that. That'll do. So I was warned once by the umpire in the first half for swearing, and I sort of took note of it. Anyway, game transpired. one of their players hit one of our players in the head with their fist. And it was kind of that kind of line ball of whether it was intentional, but we kind of remonstrated, but in the end we kind of let it go. Then the second half, I swore a few more times. And then there was part of the game when... so I was warned by the umpire again. And then there was a part of the game where the ball was kicked to a contest. And I yelled out, punch if you can, punch if you can. But their guy was in the contest and he said, mate, what are you doing? What the hell are you saying? I was like, what are you talking about? What did I say? And he said, did you say punch him in the head, punch him in the head? And I was like, no, I didn't say that at all. That's not what I said. Anyway, I was in that moment, then I was labeled as the bad guy. And I felt I was labeled as the bad guy because I was swearing. That was, I had this form. By the way, just a side note, I ended up getting sent off for swearing to myself. I got sent off for 2 minutes with 30 seconds to go. So I got 30 seconds. So
then is that the next game you're a minute and a half off?
Yeah, I think so.
He wasn't allowed to shake hands after the game.
So for me, like I try and not swear too much, but in this case, I was swearing to myself, and I kind of was like, but I get that you shouldn't do that. But what I wanted to ask you guys was, have you been in that situation before? Have you gotten into trouble swearing? And do you swear a lot in your daily life?
So on the netball court, I literally do the same thing as you, Dion. I swear at myself when I stuff up plays.
What's your word of choice?
The F word?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and just
The F word.
I've done it
Josh?
very loudly.
Let's just get it out of the way.
I don't need to say it.
The F word.
I refuse to say it on this podcast.
Okay.
Deliberately. And I say it, I've said it very loudly on occasion, like a scream, like, fuck.
Wow.
Like really badly.
Yeah.
And yeah, the umpires are like, I'll go, and I instantly go, yep, sorry. Because I'm like, yeah, I know you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, but you're not swearing at anyone, right?
No,
You're swearing
it's
at yourself.
not. No.
But isn't that, I find that, Christian, before we hear from you, I find that really interesting that a word that has been interpreted by common language as being a swear word or a bad word, if you're saying it to yourself, it's still regarded as something that's really unpalatable, whereas really it could be any sound, right? I find that just really interesting about swear words.
The way that both of you use swear words, like, because I don't think any of us necessarily swear a lot. I think I probably swear the most. I'm probably a little more liberal with my Fs and my Ps and my Rs.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like my swearing, the outbursts like that and using it really in an attacking fashion is rare. But common language, I just chuck it in every now and again.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I feel as though there's a few reasons to swear now.
Okay.
The first is tied to what you were saying. It's this unburdening, right? It's a release. It's this really beautiful release, and it's this de-stressor.
Yep.
The second one is,
When you
Josh.
stub your toe.
Yeah. So it's tied to a phrase, Josh, which I know that we've discussed, where you go, I'm not going to say piece of shit without saying fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So I think the glamour that's associated with swearing, as you get older, it's probably a little bit less humorous. Like, the taboo of swearing is gone.
Yeah.
But it's just in those moments of unburdening.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely those phrases. And I'll find it's not you, it's kind of used as an emphasizer.
Yeah.
But yeah, piece of shit is a classic for me.
Isn't it?
I really like it when something's a bit broken or not working correctly.
Piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
Yeah.
Now,
And it's an absolute piece of shit, isn't it?
do you remember when I called you a piece
Yes,
of
it
shit,
hurt me a
Josh?
lot.
Yeah,
So
it was awful.
this is years ago. Josh and I were, I don't know, how many years into our friendship were we? Not many. We were at the very, very start of the podcast, I think. And I called you a piece of shit in a very friendly way.
Yeah.
And Josh took it very personally because you weren't using it in an
No.
affectionate way yet.
No, I wasn't.
Now?
Yeah, I'd call you a piece of shit.
And that's a compliment to me.
The other thing that's hard is that the next week came along and I had to think of what I was going to do in that moment when I stuffed up a kick or something. And I had to try and come up with a replacement for a swear word.
Right.
It's very hard. What are you
Right.
going to say?
Well, it's clear the first phrase the first sound that is coming out of your mouth, so the f coming out. Are you going with a fridge? Going with a frock?
You can't say fridge or frock. You
yeah.
could say frock sounds like fuck. So dumb.
The guy's like, what did you say, mate?
I love it. You're
Said
like,
frock.
what about fuck without the C?
Frock's almost worse.
That's pretty brutal, doesn't it?
Frock and roll.
Yeah. But it's really hard because I feel like those
What
words...
did you go with?
I
will be
went,
great.
Actually, I tried to go with fui. And fui is something that my mum says, and I believe it's Slovak for... Like, she'll say, fui stinks, and I think it means stinks.
So she'll say, stinks. Mate, that stinks.
That's not great.
What would you
could
do?
have more of a burst.
Well, you have to come up with something. What do you do now? Do you still swear to yourself? And will this conversation inform whether you swear next time? We think twice about it. Because some people have a really visceral reaction to swearing as well, and you have to respect
it's too
that.
immediate.
Yeah, it's too instinctive.
I
There's
know.
no thinking.
But why is a swear word instinctive? How weird's that? And a swear word like the F word that just means sex. That's all. Like, is that my sex?
Yeah, do that instead. See if you get set off for that.
Have you ever tried to change the emphasis on where you're on whichever syllable? Maybe you could say like fucking. Would that?
Someone's thrown a coin into a metal
maybe
bin.
that's a little bit better.
That's it. One thing though, you were clearly frustrated yourself, Dion.
Yes.
I'm wondering, do you get frustrated at other people? Because I was thinking about this, and I will very rarely, and I can't really remember a real face-to-face, I'm angry at that person. I'm normally angry at a situation or something. It's very rare there's an individual that I'm directly sort of frustrated and angry with.
I guess there's a difference between being disappointed and frustrated and being frustrated and angry.
But are you an angry person? I don't think you're an angry person.
Oh, I can get rages of anger, but it's usually at home on my own when I'm in my own brain.
Over what?
Christ, what sort of things? I think that just being incredibly forgetful sometimes can be very, very annoying and really.
That's an amazing thing to get angry about.
No,
I
it's not.
forgot that thing.
No. So before I came to recording today, I left the iPad at home. So I had to go back and get the iPad, right? So I went up to my apartment, got the iPad, and then took it downstairs to my car, and then realized I forgot something else. So I went back upstairs, and then I forgot, this is my life, then I forgot that I'd actually put the iPad in the car. So I was looking around my house for the iPad.
God.
And that kind of stuff happens all the time,
Yep.
and it drives me nuts.
Can I just say, and I don't know whether this helps, you're not alone there.
Great. It's great to not be alone in any situation.
The number of times
iPads that I've left in my car.
but how often do you think you've gone up to your room to grab something? Like the number of times that I'll go up to my room to grab a jumper and maybe I'm distracted by my phone or not thinking.
Yeah.
I'll arrive to my room, all of a sudden, oh, okay, there's that mug I had to bring downstairs. Bring it downstairs. Don't have my jumper. Still cold.
But talking about that, like disappointed and angry and frustrated, how do you guys feel? You've done washing, you've put it out in the line, a couple of hours been out there, looking good. Starts raining. What's your feeling then? Now, let's say it starts raining to the point where, you know, they're soaked enough that, like, are you angry or are you disappointed? What do you do in that situation, by the way? Just as a bit of a side note.
I think I'm nonplussed because I just go, there'll be another sunny day.
Oh, that's the approach you would. That's what you'd love.
I never. Do you know why? Do you know why? Because I'll never let my clothes get to a point where I'll run out.
Oh, genius. I'm yet to experience that. I have no idea what that's
Really?
like. Always running out of clothes.
Really?
Yeah. Heaps.
That's why I keep so many old ratty things.
Oh, do you have
That's why.
They're bottom of the pile.
I thought that was your wardrobe.
really ratty? What's your rattiest pair of clothes?
Well, when things get holes in them, they don't go in the bin straight away. They stick around for years.
yeah, I know. We've
Yeah.
seen that with your shoes.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
So I'm saying
At
is that
formal events.
because in a pinch, if we're getting rained on, I've still got. Well, I got the backup. I'm not going to be
Yes.
without clothes.
Yes.
Out of interest, do you ever just leave the clothes out there and let them soak? It depends.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What about if it's pouring with rain?
Accept your fate, and you
Yeah.
go, man. Next dry day.
Yep.
That's a
I
nice
just
way to
think
look
that's
at
another rinse in the washing machine.
yeah, that's true. But where do you
Nature's rinse cycle.
But you can't spin it.
Josh, back to what you were saying about getting angry at individuals. What scares me a little bit is that any given person walking around in the world has this side to them that you don't know where that switch could flip, right? That scares me heaps. Knowing that, Dion, maybe you're a person who just has this rage inside of them.
Yep.
Because I think about the angriest that I'll get towards someone, Josh, and it's more often than not when I receive a message or get asked a question, which is something that's easily found on Google.
Ah, yes.
And when that happens, I go, what was the thought process in your mind that you decided I'd ask the question of a human, a fallible human being, as opposed to the great infallible God of Google?
You know the best thing? They've literally typed in the question into a message instead of Google.
Yeah, and maybe that's maybe they've made that mistake.
That's right. It's like a boomer just posting a status.
Yes, on Twitter.
Yeah.
But Josh, who are you getting angry at directly?
The only time I've really experienced it was during a game of netball where the guy did something that was intentionally trying to injure me.
Yeah.
So I was jumping up for a ball and he was
interesting.
tucked in behind me and like lifted his leg up to put me off balance. And so I went off balance and sort of stumbled forward. I didn't fall over.
Super weird.
But I was just like, that was a moment that I went, I'm really angry at you, this person in front of me, because you're deliberately trying to hurt me.
Super weird in social sport. Super weird in professional sport to do any of that stuff. I get that there's that white line fever, but
You get it, Dion. Of course you do.
I absolutely get it.
Crush a few necks. Well, we're halfway through the show now, so it probably makes sense to do a bit of a sound check, make sure our levels are all right and everything like that.
Absolutely.
The theme we're going for this time is Australian Idol Contestants. I'll start. Dean Geyer deliberately lit a bushfire. Dean Geyer deliberately lit a bushfire. Dion?
Ricky Lee is a B-grade celebrity. Ricky Lee is a B-grade celebrity.
Thank you, Dion. Anthony Kalia spreads Christmas cheer. Anthony Kalia spreads Christmas cheer.
Just as an aside, now I'm imagining a chia pet of Anthony Kalia's head.
Anthony Kalia pet. Kalia pet.
I was at the supermarket the other day doing a bit of shopping and I took note of the kinds of clothes that people were wearing at the supermarket. And I feel like the supermarket, it's the kind of place where everyone's standards drop a lot and you're very unconcerned about what you're wearing.
Yeah.
And I realized I feel like I have a bit of a threshold for the clothes I'm comfortable to wear out of the house. I'm not saying I dress up every time I go out of the house. I'm just saying there's some things in my wardrobe that are only worn around the house. One of those things is a tracksuit pant.
Ooh.
I don't like to wear a tracksuit pant out of the house.
Yes.
Very interesting. So does it depend if it is a slim-fitting tracksuit pant? Christian, are you never wearing tracksuit pants out of the house?
Hey, despite what I look like, I would never, ever wear tracksuit pants out of the house. Even a slim leg drop crotch.
Would you be seen dead? Would you be seen dead in a pair?
God, no. No, not even dead.
Dion, are you wearing tracky dacks?
I think COVID has changed a little bit.
Right.
It's kind of blurred the line between what you're comfortable wearing at home, what you're comfortable wearing out.
Well, you'll do. It's all shopping from home these days, isn't it?
Pretty much, and that's when I'll put on my tracksuit pants. No, I think that it is a luxury. I will never pair it with a pair of Ugg boots, though. That's not something.
That's not going out of the house.
And I really hate that. That's a big fuck you to society. If you're going out in tracksuit pants and Ugg boots, and you're like,
you're smashing the system
ragged,
at that point.
I feel like you're kind of breaking some rules there.
Yeah, so that's
probably quite an elitist.
most girls at university.
Yeah, and
smashing the system,
and that's who I'm trying to attack.
But the interesting thing is, why wouldn't we? It's so unbelievably comfortable.
Yeah, it's weird. So Josh, why don't you?
I think largely this is weird, but I think this is what it actually is. I want more protection from the wind.
Interesting. So you want
And
a firmer...
I feel like the jean is doing a much better job.
Yeah.
And I feel like if it's warmish, I'm going the shorts.
What about when it's not windy? Or when it's warm?
If it's not... find me a time, Dion, where it is not windy, but it's also cold. Does it exist?
Yeah, that's true.
Hey,
Dion, find him the time.
What about... So we're talking about long tracksuit pants. What about, like, Christian, a rugger as an example?
Yeah,
Would you
this
wear
is
a
tough.
rugger out?
So I don't love wearing shorts and t-shirts out of the home as a rule.
I love it.
Mainly because, for me, being dressed up involves sleeves. So I like to have my arms and my legs covered because I feel as though that is more modest.
Oh, that...
But so Dion, I'm curious to know.
What a strange ending to the sentence.
What's your threshold? What is the level that this isn't leaving? You've mentioned Ugg boots. Is there any tops or bottoms that you're like, this doesn't leave the house?
I think I like to look pretty decent when I leave the house. Like, I think I guess you never know who you're going to bump into as well. And yeah, I like to look decent. For me, it'd be like a cafe that's 500 meters away where I'm picking up a coffee or I'm getting takeaway. It's that kind of thing.
That's huge. The length of the trip, right?
Yes.
What about if you're hungover? Does that allow you to...
Plays a big role.
I would have thought so.
Yeah, but also to what Josh said, the length of the trip.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. If it's just down to the shops, the local bakery to pick up a fresh loaf, I'm not dressing up for them.
Well, one thing that I used to do after a game of netball, sometimes I would do some shopping on the way home. So I'm in the full netball gear, right? So I got the runners, I've got the shorts.
Interesting.
And I've even got my netball,
You still got
bag.
the bib on. You got the bib on as well.
The bib! Oh, that'd be great.
No, and I always felt like this feels weird doing the shopping, wearing these running shoes and these shorts.
I think wearing that activewear out of the house is completely fine if you look a little flustered. If you've got a bit of a sweat on, people go, okay, he's just come from a run.
He's just unfit.
I love a shop after social sport at night. Do you? I feel like I'm being incredibly productive.
yeah.
I've done a workout and I'm going to go do this other thing. Then I'm just going to slob around at home for the rest of the night. But it's a beautifully productive shop.
Yes,
I feel
because it's on the way, right? You're like, well, I'm going home anyway.
Yeah.
I'm stuck into the shops.
Christian, so what about you? I mean, you've got your sliders as well. You sometimes wear them.
Yeah, the slide.
The tiny burgers on your feet
with spikes through them.
Through the big toe.
Do I take this out or?
Well, before you eat the foot, of course you do.
I will wear the sliders occasionally. The thing that I will not wear.
Surely there's a napkin underneath the slider as well that you're walking on.
The thing that I won't wear out of the house is something I try not to with a stain on it.
I try.
Wow.
I try.
Wow, these guys.
Look at this. I'll wear a jumper with a hole in it.
Yeah, that's a big hole as well.
Christian,
for me, that's fine.
So just for context, that hole is about half the size of an Australian $5 note.
Yeah. Sorry, what?
Like, Mom, you do it. It's a 20-cent piece. Normally say, it's the size of a 5-cent piece or a 20-cent piece. It's way bigger than Eddie coins.
A $5 note.
Yes, because it's way
round.
bigger. Yeah, but I had to get the size.
But Christian, why do you have that top? It's got a big hole on the elbow. Why do you have that?
It's comfy.
That's great. You don't need to chuck that out. You just
Absolutely
don't.
not.
You could get it repaired.
No, I don't care. I don't care enough about having a hole at my elbow because it's almost like an elbow patch.
You could end up looking like an American lecturer and get some leather pads over the edge of the elbows.
Is that what I look like, Josh?
No, not at all.
American lecturer?
Yeah. With burgers on his feet.
I remember one of the worst things. One of the worst.
What an image! With the lectern in front and the menu at the front of the lectern, all the different sliders.
One of the worst moments of my life happened. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save this story for our Patreons.
So if you want to become a Patreon, go to www.patreon.com/Welcome to Patchwork and you will hear the worst story of Christian's life.
It is one of the most embarrassing things that I had to deal with for the period of about an hour until it dried.
If that isn't...
until it dried.
What is this? Great.
And now it's time for Australia's favourite game show, Wheel of Fortune Cookie!
Wow, that Chinese food was so nice.
Delicious.
Always, this same restaurant does such good food.
Yeah.
But the thing about this, guys, I've told you this before, but I'll explain it again.
Yes, please.
They do fortune cookies, but each fortune cookie has one word into it, but always very profound.
Yeah,
always
yeah.
very profound.
Always.
So I'll kick us off and we'll go around. All right. Northern.
Think of any word, Dion. Let's start again. Josh, I think you've got a second one there.
Yeah, I do. Here we go.
That caught me really off guard because she's like, some
Southern.
It's amazing. Go, you go.
Traveling.
What? Southern traveling?
Birds.
Will.
Sometimes.
Fly.
South. Dion.
Bizarre.
Southern traveling birds will sometimes travel south. Dion, would you like to open your fork?
Yeah, I will actually. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a really, really tough one. Walking
Around
One's
own
mind.
is
somewhat
Perilous.
to
one's.
Footing.
I mean, like the only word I say is once.
Walking around one's mind is perilous to one's footing.
That is great. That's almost the best one we've come up with. I mean, the best one we've read.
And now for my cookie.
Don't make it another direction.
Accidentally.
There you go. There's a ripper for you. Deal with that. Go on, what's the next word?
accidentally
Great.
fortunes.
Oh, and this was the last time we ever played Wheel of Fortune, Cookie. I'll go one more time.
So glad that happened.
Turn
One's
Light.
on. Turn one's light on.
That's great.
Really, really good. You know what's really, really good? Really, really good. You know what's really, really good?
Now, here at Welcome to Patchwork, we love hearing your really good. So jump on our socials. We got Facebook, we got Instagram, we got Twitter. We do Really Good Fridays. When does it happen? It happens on Fridays. So jump on and give us your best really good, and it might get read out on the show. And you know what Marco Nolo thinks is really good? When you purchase something online and a discount is applied at checkout without having to apply a code.
Really
yes.
good.
Really good.
Really good. And you know what Chris Halliday thinks is really good? When you walk barefoot on bitumen and don't step on anything sharp.
Oh, really
good. Really good.
Really good.
And you know what Julia Weaver thinks is really good? Stepping on a surprisingly crunchy leaf.
really good.
Really
good. Really good. You know. Hey, thanks so much for listening. Just a reminder, if you can, just go to Apple Podcasts. Just do it now. Just do it while I'm talking, please. No, we have lots of great reviews on there, but it really helps us out if you just go on Apple Podcasts and rate us. Search Welcome to Patchwork. Should be pretty easy. So thanks to those who've done that last patch. That was awesome. I really, really appreciate it.
And Comedy Festival is just about upon us. There's a few tickets left. If you don't have yours yet, jump online, grab them now. They're going to sell out very soon.
It's a few.
Yeah,
And we're
couple.
talking about the literal few. A handful.
But also, the greatest thing you can do is tell a friend. If you like our podcast and you think a friend of yours shares your sense of humor, our sense of humor, let them know, link them, and hopefully they love it. And our delightful Patreons, we will be meeting and seeing a lot of you at our comedy festival shows. If you too would like to become a Patreon, go to www.patreon.com/welcome to patchwork. If you've never been to that website, have a look. Go check it out. There's some great stuff there. And yeah, sign up. And yeah, we really, really appreciate Patrons because they are the lifeblood of this podcast. And as we do every week, we sew a new patch into our quilt of friendship. Josh, what patch did you sew into our quilt this week?
Thank you, Dion. My patch this week was you getting sent off the footy ground for running on with burger sliders on your feet. Christian, what patch did you sew this week?
Thank you, Josh. This week I sewed into my patch Dion, responding to your thread invite with the question, hey, what's the weather going to be like on Friday night?
It's no good. Right.
It was because it's an obvious question that you can Google. Okay, let's do it one more time and I'll read another one.
Missed that.
Okay, dokie. Let's read the shit first one. Thank you, Josh. This week I sewed into my patch you, fresh from your ocean swim, walking around a grocery store in your scuba gear. This week I sewed into my patch Josh, fresh from some fruit picking, wearing a potato sack around the grocery store. And Dion. What? I couldn't think of anything. Dion, what did you sew into your patch this week?
My patch this week is me going to the supermarket after playing football, ordering a piece of shit from the deli, but getting kicked out of the supermarket for swearing. Much better than Christian's. Thank you so much for listening to Welcome to Patchwork for another week. I've been Dion.
I've been Josh.
And I've been Christian.
Goodbye.
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 What do you want to do? Do you want,
This week, I sewed into my patch Josh on his holiday to northern Queensland, walking around the streets in his scuba gear after a fresh dive.
I would have put them all in, to be honest. I think it's hilarious the way it devolves.
Yeah. It's great that you had backups so it works.
Cosima DeVito enjoyed her last Cheeto.